Genesis chapter 21, birth of Isaac. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. So Sarah conceived and bare Abraham, her son, in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. When Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, and Sarah bare to him Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. And Sarah said, God had made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. God protects Hagar and Ishmael. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which he had borne unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight, because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, because of thy bondwoman, and all that Sarah had said unto thee. Hearken unto their voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder. And the child and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle. She cast the child under one of the shrubs. And she went and set him down over against him a good way off, as it were a bowtop. For she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him, and lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad. The angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, what aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the bottle of water, and gave the lad this. And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness. He became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Haran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. A treaty with Amalek. And it came to pass at that time that Amalek and Hushai, chief captain of his host, spoke unto Abraham, saying, God is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me here by God, that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee. Thou shalt do unto me and me the land wherein that has sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Amalek because of the well of water, which Amalek's servant had silently taken away. And Amalek said, I wot not who has done this thing, neither did thou tell me, neither yet heard I, but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Amalek. And both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 lambs of the flock by themselves. And Amalek said unto Abraham, What is these 7 few lambs which thou hast set by themselves? And he said, For these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take my hand, that they may be a witness unto me, that I have digged well. Therefore he called that place Beersheba, because there they were sore both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Amalek rose up, and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of Philistine. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistine land many days. Chapter 23, the sacrifice of Isaac. And it came to pass after these things that God tempted Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. He said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thy only son Isaac, and whom thou lovest, get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering, upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, to clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went unto the place of which God had told him. Then in the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place far off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I, the lad, will go on yonder aforetime, and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of burnt offering, and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spoke unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold, fire in the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. And they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar on the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. He said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked. Behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horn. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah-Jireh, as it is said to this day, In the mount of the Lord shall be seen. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven, second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, says the Lord. But because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heavens, and as the sand which is on the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, the men. And they rose up and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to pass after these things, that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Malchus, he had also borne children unto thy brother Nachor, Hus his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Chamiel the father of Abraham, and Cheez, Hacho, and Gilgad, and Jidlaph, and Bilhah, and Bilhah begat Rebekah. These 8 Malchi did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his concubine, whose name was Ramah. He bare also Taba and Gahan, and Tahah, and Matsah. Chapter 23. Sarah's death and burial. And Sarah was 107, 20 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Sarai-Jabal. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn Sarah and to weep for her. And Abraham stood up from before his death, and spoke unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Here is my Lord, thou art the mighty prince among us. In the choice of our substance, bury thy dead. None of us shall withhold from thee the sculpture, but that thou mayest bury thy dead. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me and entreat for me to Ephron, the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave of Malchus, which he had, which is in the end of the field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it me for possession of a burying place among you. And Ephraim dwelt among the children of Heth, and Ephraim the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even of all that went in at the gate of his city, saying, Nay, my Lord, hear me. The field give I thee, and the cave that is therein I give it thee. In the presence of the sons of my people give I it thee, bury thy dead. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land. And he spoke unto Ephraim in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if thou wilt give it, I pray thee, hear me. I will give thee money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead there. And he answered Abraham, saying unto him, My Lord, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that bewixt me and thee? Bury therefore thy dead. And Abraham hearkened up unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver. current money which were merchants. And the field of Ephraim which was in Mount Kala, which was before Mamre, the field, and the cave which was therein, all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders around about, were made sure unto Abraham for possession in the presence of the children of Heth, before all that went in at the gate of the city. And after this, Abraham married Sarah, his wife, shade of the field of Machpelah, before Mamre, same as Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And the field and cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for possession of the burying place by the sons of Heth. Chapter 24. Isaac and Rebekah. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all that he had, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord, God of heaven, and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son, of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell, but thou shalt go unto my country, and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. And the servant said unto him, peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land, must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest. And Abraham said unto him, beware, though that thou bring not my son thither again. The Lord God of heaven took me from my father's house, and from the land of my kindred, and which spoke unto me, and that swore unto me, saying, unto thy seed will I give this land. He shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this my oath, only bring not my son thither again. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, to swear to him concerning that matter. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and departed, for all the goods of his master were in his hand. And he arose and went to Machpelah, unto the city of Nahor, and he made his camels kneel down without the city, by a well of water, at the time of the evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of the water, and the daughters of the men of the host and of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher, I pray thee that I may drink, and he shall say, drink, and I will give thy camel drink also. Let the same be seed that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac, and thereby shall I know that thou hast showed kindness unto my master. And it came to pass before he had done speaking that, behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher on her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known. And she went down to the well, and filled her pitcher, and came up, And the servant ran to meet her, and said, Let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher. And she said, Drink, my lord. And she hasted, and let down her pitcher upon her hand, and gave him drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for the camels also, until they have done drinking. And she hasted and emptied her pitcher into the trough, and ran again unto the well of draw water, and drew for all his camels. And the man wondering at her held his peace, to wit whether the Lord had made his journey prosperous or not. And it came to pass, as the camels had done eating, that the man took a golden earring of half shekel weight, and 2 bracelets for her hand, 10 shekels weight of gold, and said, Whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee, is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge in? And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, son of Malchi, which she bare unto Nahor. She said moreover unto him, We have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in. And the man bowed down his head and worshipped the Lord. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham, who has not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I being in the way, the Lord led me to the house of my master's brethren. And the damsel ran and told him of their mother's house these things. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man, unto the well. And it came to pass, when he saw earrings and bracelets upon his sister's hand, and when he heard the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, Thus spoke the man unto me, that he came unto the man, and behold, he stood by the camels at the well. And he said, Come in, thou blessed of the Lord, wherefore standest thou without? For I have prepared the house and room for the camels. And the man came into the house, and he ungirded his camel, and gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash the feet, and the men's feet that were with him. And there was set meat before him to eat, but he said, I will not eat until I have told my errand. And this was 2 times. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and the Lord has blessed my master greatly. He is become great. He has given him flocks and herds, and silver, and gold, men servants, and maid servants, and camels, and asses. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master, when he was old, and unto him had he given all that he had. And my master made me swear, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell. But thou shalt go unto my father's house, to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. And I said unto my master, Peradventure the woman will not follow me. And he said unto me, The Lord before whom I walk will send his angel with thee, and prosper thy way. And thou shalt take a wife for my son of my kindred and of my father's house. Thou shalt be clear from this my oath, when thou comest to my kindred, and they give not thee one, thou shalt be clear from my oath. And I came this day unto the well, and said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, if now thou do prosper my way which I go. Behold, I stand by the well of the water. It shall come to pass that when the virgin cometh forth to draw water, and I say to her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water of thy pitcher to drink. And she say to me, both drink them, and I will also draw for my camel. Let the same be the woman the Lord had appointed out of my master's son. And before I had done speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came forth with her pitcher in her shoulder, and she went down unto the well and drew water. And I said unto her, Let me drink, I pray thee. And she made haste, and let down her pitcher from her shoulder, and said, Drink, and I will give the camels drink also. So I drank, and she made the camels drink also. And I asked her, and said, Whose daughter art thou? And she said, The daughter of Bethuel. Now her son, and Malchah bare unto him. And I put the earring upon her face, and the bracelets upon her hand. And I bowed down my head unto the Lord. Blessed the Lord God of my master Abraham, which had led me to the right way, to take my master's brother's daughter unto his son. And now if he will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Then Lebanon and Bethlehem answered and said, The thing proceeded from the Lord. We cannot speak unto the sea bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before thee, hatred and gold, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Lord hath spoken. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped the Lord, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought 4 jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and remnants, and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things. And they eat and drink, he and the men that were with them, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, Send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother said, Let the damsel abide with us a few days, at the last at least 10. After that she shall go. And he said unto them, Hinder me not, seeing the Lord hath prospered my way. Send me away, that I may go to my master. And they said, We will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. And they called Rebekah, and said unto her, Wilt thou go with this man? And she said, I will go. And they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant, and his men. And they blessed Rebekah, and said unto her, Thou art our sister. Be thou the mother of our thousands and millions, and let thy feet possess the gate of those which hate thee. And Rebekah arose, and the damsels, and they rode upon the camels, and followed the man, and the servant took Rebekah and went his way. And Isaac came from the way of the well Laharai, for he dwelt in things south country. And Isaac went out to mediate in the field at the eventide. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, It is my master. Therefore she took the veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Abraham's death and his descendants. Then again Abraham took a wife, and her name was Zora, and she bare him Zimah, and Jotham, and Medan, and Median, and Asbeth, and Juah, and Joseph begat Sheba, and Dedan, and sons of Dedan were Asherim, Elisram, and Elisam. And the sons of Median, Ashtah, and Ephar, Hanoth, and Abida, and Heldah. All these were the children of Keturah. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubine, which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward unto the east country. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life, which he lived, 180 years. Then Abraham gave up the ghost, and died in a great old age, an old man, full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar, the Hittite, which was before Mamre. The field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Hittite, there was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham that God blessed his son Isaac. And Isaac dwelt by the well Laharai. Now these are the generation of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar, Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names according to their generations. Firstborn of Ishmael, Nabazoth, Kedar, and Abdul, Mishma, and Mishma, and Shuma, and Hagar, and Tema, Jethor, Napis, and Kedat. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years, and he gave up the ghost, died, and was gathered unto his people. And they dwelt from Halza unto Shur, that is toward Egypt, as thou goest toward Syria, and he died in the presence of all his brethren. Birth of Esau and Jacob. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, Syrian, and Azaram. The sister to Laban was Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. She said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old. She bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tent. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Esau sells his birthright. And Jacob sod potted, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall his birthright be to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he sware unto him that he had sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and the pottage of lentil, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.